The story begins in the heart of the Windy City, where the streets pulsated with an undercurrent of danger, ambition and blood. Money, power and death laced in diamonds, Dolce & Gabbana and Gucci. Louis Vuitton is a nice brand, but the VL in Chicago stands for vice lords. In the shadows, the vice lords and gangster disciples rose to power. Their unmistakable influence is better than marketing degree from DePaul University, dressed in black and gold or blue and black. Their leaders amassed wealth and commanded respect through fear and loyalty. They controlled entire neighborhoods, their presence felt in every corner. The allure of quick money and power drew many into their ranks, creating a formidable force that seemed unstoppable, but beneath the surface, the seeds of their downfall were being sown. For decades, the grip of these gangs seemed unshakable. Their leaders, shrouded in mystique and fear, operated with impunity. But the tide began to turn. Law enforcement agencies, determined to dismantle these criminal enterprises, launched investigations. They infiltrated the ranks, they gathered evidence, and finally, through wicked informants, charges began to stick. In a series of high-profile indictments, the leaders of both the Vice Lords, Latin Kings, Blackstones, and gangster disciples were brought to justice. Larry Hoover, the infamous leader of the gangster disciples; Willie Lloyd, leader of the almighty Vice Lords and unknown Vice Lords; Gustavo Colon, leader of the almighty Latin King nation, was sentenced to lengthy prison terms. These convictions sent shockwaves through the city and the gangs themselves. With their figureheads behind bars, a power vacuum instantly emerged. The future of these organizations, once seemingly invincible, now hung precariously in the balance. The imprisonment of their leaders forced the Vice Lords, Latin Kings, and gangster disciples to confront a crossroads. Weakened and leaderless, they faced a choice: continue down the path of violence and self-destruction, or forge a new path. To the surprise of many, a new strategy began to emerge. Recognizing that their old ways had only led to prison cells and early graves, some members began to advocate for a radical shift political engagement. They understood that true power lay not in controlling street corners, but in influencing the halls of government. Morphing into poverty pimps with non-violent non-profits was getting old. No one wants to pay a gang member to stop the violence, especially when many are behind it. This shift was driven by a potent mix of pragmatism and desperation. Many gang members proclaimed to want their leaders released from prison to stem the violence, but the wicked rich dope boys could care less and would kill anyone who tried to stop the multi-million-dollar fentanyl lines. They also recognized the need to address the root causes of the problems plaguing their communities: poverty, lack of opportunity, and social injustice. Taking the reins, ex-gang members seek public office. The first signs of this transformation were subtle. Former gang members, hardened by years in seclusion and on the streets, began appearing at community meetings. They spoke out against violence. They advocated for social programs. They called for an end to the conditions that had fueled gang activity for decades. This shift gained momentum. Emboldened by their newfound purpose, some former members may decided to run for public office. They saw an opportunity to represent their communities, to give voice to the voiceless, and to effect change from within the system. Their campaigns are unconventional, to say the least. They speak openly about their felonious pasts, acknowledging their mistakes and emphasizing their commitment to redemption. They appeal to voters who had long felt ignored and marginalized. Healing the streets, a push against fentanyl. This political awakening was accompanied by a parallel movement within the gangs, a concerted effort to combat the opioid epidemic ravaging their communities. Heroin laced with fentanyl, a deadly combination, had flooded the streets, leaving a trail of overdoses and shattered lives. The heartless pushers must be stopped. Many gang members, witnessing the devastating effects of this epidemic firsthand, are deciding to take action. Organized rallies and marches raise awareness about the dangers of fentanyl and drug addiction. Pressured dealers to stop selling the deadly drug or face ruthless informants who will tell everything like they've been doing. They even began distributing Narcan, an overdose reversal medication, in an effort to save lives. This shift was not entirely altruistic. The gangs recognized that the fentanyl crisis was bad for business. It was also decimating their ranks and tearing apart the very communities they claimed to represent. Finding faith gangs embrace religion and community. Another unexpected facet of this transformation was the growing influence of religion within the gangs. Church leaders, long seen as adversaries, were invited to speak at gang meetings, Former rivals gathered for prayer vigils seeking solace and guidance. This embrace of faith provided a sense of purpose and belonging that had long been absent in the lives of many gang members. It offered a path to redemption, a chance to atone for past sins, and a framework for building a better future. The sight of hardened gang members attending church services, participating in community cleanups, and mentoring youth became increasingly common. It was a testament to the transformative power of faith and the enduring human capacity for change.